Caroline Norat. Thank you so much for agreeing to sit down and talk with me. It's been a long time coming, so I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you, Lolita, for having me. It's my pleasure.
You've been on the department for 20 years now. I just was thinking about this as I was getting ready for this podcast. Like, we met in the academy. You were in my senior class. I looked up to you then, and I still look up to you now. 2 decades in law enforcement, and now specifically your accomplishments in Jiu-Jitsu is what I really want to talk about. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you even start?
Oh my. So I started at a bad place in my life. I was in horrible shape. I was very embarrassed just to be in my uniform. I was over 200 pounds. I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day and drinking every day. It was just a bad place. So I got tired of my own excuses, and I ended up hearing about jiu-jitsu through a coworker. And he said, hey, there's this academy that's just opening up in Redlands. You should go check it out. I said, yeah, you know what, I will. So I go, and I watched the first class. And after the class, I was so excited, I handed over my credit card and said, hey, sign me up. They're like, oh, you get a free week. Oh, no, sign me up. I'm doing this.
Take my money.
Yeah. So that's how I started jiu-jitsu.
What was it about watching that got you?
I could feel the energy in the room. It is, when you watch it, it's like a form of art, and people are doing movements, and it looks amazing, and then everybody feels amazing, so you get that good energy, positive energy. So every time I walked out of that place, even the first time that I went to watch, I felt good energy, and I wanted to come back. It's addictive. It's amazing.
There's good addictions and there's bad addictions,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So I started by saying I've known you for a long time, but, we don't always know the ins and the outs and the goods and the bads. Like, we all have our peaks and our valleys, but to hear you say, like, you were in such a low place, right? That hurts my heart, first of all, like, as your friend. But we all go through those things. That energy, the want and the desire to get out of that and then find this art form. And I love that you say art form. Tell me a little bit about the art of it.
The art. So as you learn, you develop your own style of fighting, if you will. And so there's certain techniques that you go to specifically. And when you do, it almost comes out when people watch it like a form of art. My husband's a good example of that. He's got 30 years of jiu-jitsu under his belt, but when you watch him compete, it's like an art form. It's amazing. It's amazing to see the movement and the control.
At SEBA, we did a film on the class that you were integral in getting into the training curriculum at the department. And we'll get back to that as well, like your tenacity and your teamwork with the people that kind of push to get that done. But I want to talk about the watching it, right? Because I know for years you've told me, come out, like, give it a try. But I have watched, and even though I don't know enough about the technique to really see the art of it, I guess, I definitely am struck by, like, the humility of it, if that makes sense. Like, and I don't mean it in I don't mean being humble in like a bad way. I mean, it's not like a chest puffing kind of a competition. It's like everybody has this reverence for the sport and for each other. Can you tell me a little bit about, like, where that comes from?
So when you first start jiu-jitsu, I don't know if you have the same experience, but when I first started, I thought, man, I'm a deputy sheriff. I can do this, no problem. And I go in, and what a shocker. I'm out of shape, obviously, but it was difficult because I didn't know what I was doing. So then I defend, and they tell me, I'm strong. You're strong. And it's almost, you take it like an insult. Am I really strong? Or is it because that's all I can do is be strong? So you start learning the techniques, then you get a sense of pride. And it's hard. It takes a long time to learn these techniques, and you get a sense of pride, but you really have to, in order to learn these techniques, you have to let go of your ego. And that, I think, is where the humbleness comes from. You have to let it go or you can't learn. If you're just going to use your strength, it doesn't work. You have to do the techniques.
Okay, first of all, letting go of ego is like one of the hardest things to do, right? Because we all have them. And then maybe it's counterintuitive because, yeah, we think of our strength and that's what we want to lead with. So to let go of that or to somehow have to lower those, maybe a guard down to let technique in, how do you master that?
A lot of training. It's a lot of tried and true training. Like the more you train, the more you retain is what I like to say. So the more practice you have is where you pick up that technique. For example, when I was a white belt, I might have seen a move that I thought was, oh man, that's so cool, but I can't do it, maybe physically, or I just don't understand it. Well, through the years, it comes back to be taught again. And then I look at it from a different light and different experience, and I can say, oh, I missed that detail of that movement. Now it gives me a whole new world with that technique. I can now use it to my advantage. So with time, persistence, and training, you're going to get better at that technique.
So I know it's been 5 years. And so we just heard you say from the inception, not a good place for you. Overweight, smoking, drinking. And I'm going to fast forward. Now we're 5 years later. You have so many championships under your belt. I know that you're someone I look up to, that a lot of people, and I was going to say women, but I just think a lot of people see how far you've come, and they see this tenacity, but also this calm, this confidence. You're an athlete. What a journey. And 5 years is not that long.
No.
And you've catapulted. So tell me some of these. I know we were talking about this. I know there's a lot. Tell me some of your top accomplishments that you've hit.
So with tournaments, I started tournaments at white belt. And when I first started training, I really didn't think I could do that. I thought it was just for professionals. And I know we were talking about competition and professionals. I thought when we started, it was just for professionals to compete, but I found that you can compete at any age, any weight, any belt. And I said, sign me up. So when I did that, I started training, and I put my time and effort in 2 months of training for my first major competition. I had a couple of before that where I lost, and you learn. But the major one was PANS at white belt. And there were 3 women in my class. This was back in COVID times.
Okay.
So there wasn't a lot of people training and competing at that time, but it's still a major competition.
Yeah.
And so I flew to Florida. I had prepared these 2 months, and I was ready mentally, let's go. Physically, let's go. And so that was my first competition that I won gold. And I got to tell you, as I was coming from the fight, I had my hand raised, and now I have to go up to the podium where you get your trophy or your medal.
Yeah.
And as I was walking mid-walk, I realized I'm a champion, and I just broke down in tears. Oh. And I was I was proud of myself at that point. I had never won something like this before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've played sports in high school and college, but this was me. This was for me, and I won. And so that really pushed me to keep training and keep going to different competitions. So later that year, again in white belt, there's what's called the novice competition, and it's the Master Worlds competition. There's 5 or 6 tournaments combined. So I go to this competition afterwards, and I had maybe 5 competitors there, and it was even tougher because this is a world's competition. Yeah. And so that one I ended up winning gold at, and I was on top of the world. There is no other feeling like it. A very proud moment for me. And through the years, I have still made several competitions, and I've won some gold medals here and there.
I love the way you just say that. Oh, I've won some gold medals here and there. Yeah, I watched your stories, and I've talked to people who know you. You really shine in this. It's really awesome to see.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I do manage to make Master Worlds, and that's every year through every belt. And I've made the podium. The last 2 Master Worlds, I got bronze, and I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
Because life, sometimes life happens and we can't always train like we want to train. And so we've got to go through the valleys of injuries and recovery. And so that's also taught me a lot of grace through the years that I've been training.
This last one, it was pretty recent. Was it July, August?
End of August.
End of August, Master Worlds. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
It was intense. The women are from all over the world, right? So I got to fight one from Australia and one from Russia. And it is the toughest thing that you'll ever have to do, in my opinion, when you put yourself out there and you're fighting someone your age, your weight class, with same belt level technique. And the mat doesn't lie. So the time that you put in and the effort that you put into yourself to build yourself and prepare yourself for the tournaments, it shows on the mat. And so it was very tough. I was honored to be able to share the mats. And then after the tournament, you end up making friends with these people and you keep in contact because it's such a small world. As you get older and compete more, there's less people competing. So I made some good friendships with these tournaments as well.
Tell me a little bit about the preparation that goes into these competitions.
So really it's self-motivated. You have to make yourself take the time and put in the effort, whether it's lifting weights 3 times a week, 5 times a week. When I prepared for my first major tournament, I was in the gym every day. I was in the academy every day, sometimes twice a day. And so that was a major preparation for me.
Yeah.
And when I have backed off of that, because it's intense and life happens,
yes,
I notice a big difference. So when I wasn't lifting weights as much, I noticed it on the mat. I wasn't as strong as my competitors. And so that plays a big part in your competition.
I'm hearing, and I'm just looking at this from the outside looking in, right? So we talked about strength and like you can't just be strong, but it's a component. So lifting weights, I'm assuming cardio is going to come into this at some point, right? Just being able to endure the rounds.
Yes.
What does that entail?
Now that's a different type of cardio than your standard running cardio.
Right.
It is a very different. And for 5 minutes on the mat,
that's forever.
Yes. Yes.
Because I boxed and 3 minutes is forever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. When I first started, so let me go back to that.
Yeah.
I could not last 1 minute on the mat sparring. And it was embarrassing. My now husband asked me, he was my instructor, and he asked me, "Do you smoke?" And immediately, I put my head down and I said, "Not anymore." And at that moment, I quit.
Like that moment?
That moment, I quit. So it gives you something to work for. You know, the competitions give you goals, and you can set goals and reach them, and that's what you can be proud of. Not so much the medal, but the goals that you accomplish.
I like that you said that because I'm struck even at the fact that the sport has it at every competition, right? I mean, at every level, the competition at every level, because that's good. Because you always think like, oh, I've got to get to this thing before I can actually be serious or I can actually compete. But if you can start competing, which especially for A-type personalities, people in law enforcement, competition is like, that's a love language. That's a key word there. That's like, those are good things. We like to compete, right? So to be able to compete even when you're just starting out, that's a good carrot. That's a good, I don't know, it seems like something that's you can motivate along the way, and to be able to get those wins in sustains you to keep going.
Absolutely.
Where you said it's not just the medal, because it's, you set out a goal and you say, I'm going to do this, right? And then I love how you talked about just walking up and you're like, I'm a champion. Like, it's not just that it's a gold medal. It's that I started this. I put my mind to it. I trained really, really hard. And here's the fruits of my labor. And you just keep doing that over and over again. I see it. I'm like watching you from afar. You know, and of course we're friends, so I talk to you, but I mostly see it on Instagram, basically. Like, oh, there she goes again. There she is on the podium again. But let's go back to the training, right? And being able to set those goals. What else is encompassed in that? So we're talking about this cardio, 5 minutes being forever.
Yes.
What else? And then the technique, that has to be huge.
Yes. So when I prepare for competition, I'm usually in the gym 6 days a week, the academy. And then the gym, a minimum of 3 times a week. And I like to recommend when I talk to the other students that train with us and they want to prepare for their first competition, I usually recommend a book. It's called The Champion's Mind by Jim Afremow.
Okay.
And it talks about Olympic gold medalists or Olympic athletes and how they prepare for the Olympics. And that book helped me out so much because it got me focused on not just training, how much to train, but mental preparation. And so writing your goals down on paper, like pen and paper, and you can see your progress by checking off the boxes. What did I do today? Did I go to the sauna? Did I go to the jacuzzi? Did I lift my weights? Did I go to the academy and train? And it allows you to see your accomplishments through time. And then when you get to your competition, you know you put in the physical part. So you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
And you did the mental part. So now it's just time to perform. And that book has helped me along the way in my training.
So I know in anything, sports, in law enforcement, there's the mind muscle memory, right? The more you train, the more you train. We talk about it in various aspects, like, man, in high stress things, my training just kicked in and my body did what it needed to.
Yes.
I'm assuming same thing.
Yes.
So tell me about that mental, that tenacity, that repetition that gets your body to the point where it just performs.
It's really about being consistent and showing up to training when you don't want to, if you're having a bad day. But like I said, you always get that good feeling when you walk out of the training. So that's a reward in itself every day. You just got to show up.
Yeah.
So the more you can push yourself, and you know as well as I do, when you're exhausted, that's when you're going to need those muscle memory to kick in. So the more you train it, even when you're exhausted, and more so when you're exhausted, your body's going to remember that. And it will come in clutch when you need it the most. So it's very important to be consistent with your training.
So you've said a few times now, when you're training, you're at the academy. Tell me what is at the academy that you're going to 6 days a week? Just explain that to me a little bit.
So there's everyday people like you and me who are interested in training, that from different backgrounds, different walks of life. And we all come together and it's like a family. It's a really tight-knit community. These people will do for you anything you need. It is really like family, and we take care of each other there. And so when you train together, you push each other through the training. Like if you're working on something specific that maybe you missed in your last competition and you're working towards bettering that technique, we have people there that are going to help you with that. People who are above your level, people who are not at your level, but maybe might teach you something about that movement, or about something else, mental toughness. And really through family and community, it helps you become a better person, a better competitor, all around.
Not only have you done this for like personal growth, and then I know you have a great community, which you just spoke about, and it's great family, and now a husband and the love of your life, right? Which is amazing. I want to talk about that too. But not only did you do this for yourself, you brought this art form, you and a core group of people, you made this now available for other deputies, other law enforcement. Explain to me a little bit about that.
I'm so honored and lucky and grateful to be a part of this program. And the way it happened is right after I got my blue belt. This was back in, I believe it was 21, 22. And I got a message through Instagram from the Sheriff's Athletic Federation. And they said, hey, I notice you do jiu-jitsu. Are you interested in being an instructor? And I thought back to, my immediate answer was absolutely yes. Like, do I need to put in for the academy for this? I will do it right now.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Immediate yes. So once that happened, I thought back to when I was a deputy just out of the academy. And you might recall, we had somebody teaching us defensive tactics at the time who was into UFC, MMA, and it was interesting. So we got a little bit of that ground action.
In the academy. Yes,
the academy.
I do remember. Yes.
So I was super excited then, and I was interested then, like, oh, how do I get this training? I want more of it.
Yeah.
But when I asked about it, I got shunned, basically. The person that was teaching just kind of turned around and started talking to the guys. And I thought, okay, maybe it's not for me at that time. So there's a reason for everything that happens in our life.
Yeah.
But it made me think back to that time in my life of being a fresh new deputy and not having that background and wanting it. And I thought, if I could provide that for our deputies, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I think that is amazing. And that is my why, that I do this to bring it to the department.
I do remember, and it's funny because it seems like a lifetime ago, right? And like the academy, for anybody who's going through it or just went through it, all of us who did go through it, feels like forever when you're in it. But then you look, just like anything, right? You look back on it, you just remember the good times. But it's funny, I really didn't remember until right now. Yeah, we had that instructor, and it wasn't something, I just figured every academy class had that, but I think that was just special. They just happened to have that instructor for a short amount of time. And I do remember, especially being a woman in law enforcement, right? You're like, all right, I know I'm not going to be the biggest. Anybody, man, woman, whatever. You're not always going to be the biggest. You're not always going to be the strongest. You're not always going to be the most skilled. There's always somebody bigger, smarter, faster, whatever. So yes, it was like, oh, I can do different techniques where, I can leverage my body weight. I can do different things where I don't have to be some big, massive, lumberjack of a person to be able to, and not just win a fight, right? But stay alive, be safe, neutralize a threat, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So 15 years later, no, how long has this program been at the academy? It's still relatively new, right?
It is new. I started a couple of years ago. I want to say 2.5 years ago.
Well, you were my senior class, and I started in 2005. So were you
2005?
Yeah, 2005 to now 2025. And where you feel like you got shunned just asking a question, right? And brush that off. Now it is a thriving program. It's post-certified.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you guys teach how often?
I try to teach every few months. 2 to 3 months is my goal to make the class available. It's a 3-day class, and it's a lot of basic jiu-jitsu, law enforcement based.
Yeah.
So it's called Gracie's Survival Tactics, and it's only available to our deputies at the moment. And it's a lot of basic jiu-jitsu that helps us in the field, and it's great. I recommend it to anybody.
So we got to go, Chris and I, when we went to film it, right? We did that short film about it, which, I mean, talk about taking an enormity of a beautiful sport and just like shrinking it down into, a 3-minute film. But Chris does an amazing job at like capturing the essence, right? But yeah, I'm watching these things, and I just remember you guys going like up and down the mat and up and down the mat and up and down the mat. And it's so, I was like, man, when do they fight? But those are the basics that build the foundation, right?
Yes.
tell me about some of those basic things for law enforcement and why they make a difference.
So basic movements can be, the first basic movement you learn is how to get up. We need to learn that to be safe and solid. And it's based on a triangle, your two legs in one hand, and how to get up as solid so that if somebody's coming at you, then you'll have a good foundation, right? So that's one of the most important things, is a good foundation. So that's one basic movement, of course. And then you have to learn how to fall as well, the break fall. We need to be safe and not crack our neck on the pavement.
Yeah.
So that's important. But I would say all of them are important to learn, only because everybody's body is different. So like you were saying, we can be the smaller person, and if we know technique, sometimes the technique that we know might not work on a bigger person. Maybe we need to use something else. So I always say the more that we can learn, the better, because one might not work. We need to flow into something else and another technique that might work better for maybe not my body or for their body. You just have to adjust your technique, and the more you have under your belt, the more that you can flow to and use and be fluid.
So I want to talk about a couple of things. One, I remember being in that class and just seeing there's a lot of talent in there. There's a lot of people who know a lot, right? They know what they're doing. And it can seem a little intimidating, right? If you're going to go in and you know nothing. And you're like, oh, I don't want to make a fool out of myself. Or like, I'm a deputy sheriff. I don't want to look like I can't do these things.
Yes.
How do you speak to that kind of sense, maybe, for somebody who might be hesitant about it? Let's cross that bridge first.
Absolutely. And that is a big part of our ego, where we're a big bad deputy sheriff and we should be able to do anything, and I'm strong. And that may be true.
Yeah.
But there's other people who've never tried it before too, that are coming to these classes. And everybody who has trained, everybody has been in that position where they first time on the mat. They've never done it before. They're just now learning, and those people are teaching you, so they understand that, and they know, and they can help you through that. So I would say that's a good way to look at it. If you're hesitant on, should I do this? I don't know. I'm intimidated. The other thing I wanted to point out is that I started a female-only class about 2 years ago when I first started becoming an instructor. And the women that came into that class were very grateful, because they were intimidated.
Yeah.
And it was difficult for them to even show up. And I've seen a few of my students from those classes actually continue training on their own, which I think is amazing. I think everybody should be training.
Anytime I hear female only, right, there's always this like contradicting thing, because yes, we are part of the team, right? We need all walks of life, men, women, everybody's skills are important. So I know sometimes people think, oh, female only, you're separating yourself, you're whatever. But I want to say, like, as a woman in law enforcement, one of my fears, and whether it be right, wrong, or whatever, would be if I walked into a class like that, if for some reason I did something that would give the guys pause to think that I couldn't handle myself or like back them, that would be a big thing for me. So I would love the chance to just do it with women only first, right? So that, and maybe that's all in my head too. Maybe the guys would never think of that, but you kind of think like, I don't want them to think I'm not up to the job. I don't want them to think I'm not strong. I don't want them to think I can't do the things that they need from me, right?
Absolutely.
Whether that's a projection or whether it's real, I love that, where, women can just start at least here, right?
I think it's a good start for them to get their feet wet, to get comfortable with some movements. But I always like to say that it's good to train with the guys too, because then you've got different body types. You need to know what will work with certain body types, and you got to try these techniques, and then maybe see that it is successful, and maybe believe in yourself in the movement that it will work.
And I will say, even watching for filming that class, first of all, the guys are amazing. Like, when I say these things like, oh, what if, that's me mostly, I'm sure, right? Because there's so many supportive, amazing men that we work with. And then especially watching that class, right? They're so freaking cool. And they're just like, yeah, hey, come on out here. And they talk about humility as well. But then I'll see them be like, hey, Caroline, come help me do this. Or can you show this better than I can? Right. So that's really cool too.
I think it's amazing. And I think part of the intimidation factor could be that, hey, these guys know a lot about this and I'm brand new and I have no idea. And like you said, you don't want to embarrass yourself. But if you think about it, these people who are instructing, they've been there. They've been there day one. They understand what it's like. And so when you get to know them on the mat, they're just as excited as I am. You see me today. I'm excited to talk about it. And jiu-jitsu is a small world, but that's the addicting part about it. You know, it makes you feel amazing. You've got this good group of community people that are like-minded, that enjoy the same thing that you do. And there's something to be said about that.
And even as I'm listening to you talk about how much you love instructing, right? And so everybody that goes in there as an instructor, it's not like they think they're only going to get people who know what they're doing. Like the whole point is to teach it.
Yes, absolutely.
From the beginning, right? And
yes.
I'm sure, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but there's got to be a satisfaction where you get that brand new person that knows nothing. And over the course of working with this student, you're like, you watch their growth.
Absolutely. I think, and even in being a coach, an instructor, when you have students and you can see their progression, and especially when you hear success stories with this program, we've had a couple of success stories right out the gate, right after they took the class. They have gone into the field and used one of the techniques and were successful in arresting somebody with no injury, and it was smooth and it worked.
Yeah.
And that is, if just one person can use it and it works, fantastic. I did my job. But it's very satisfying when you can see, it's very rewarding to see your work being put into the deputies being safer on the street.
Yeah.
Having more confidence in themselves to deal with people on the street. I think that was another thing that I enjoy about this training is I held my shoulders higher. I held my head higher, knowing that I've got a few tricks under my sleeve if I need to get in and use them. But also what I've noticed is that the more I train, the less I'm in those type of situations.
Yeah.
The less I have to use it.
And tell me more about that. Like, why do you think? Because it's not like I would look at you and be like, oh, this chick can kick my ass. Like, not that you can't. I'm just saying, like, where does that come from? Because it comes from within, right?
I think the more that you train and the more confident that you are in your techniques, it gives you that confidence to be able to handle something. You always think of the what ifs. I did on patrol when I was rolling around. Okay, what if this happens when I'm on my way to a call?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking, what if he does this? What if he does that? What if they're this? So when you run that through your head and you have these techniques that are muscle memory because you've been training quite a while, it's going to help you be more confident in handling that situation regardless of what happens.
I just flippantly said, like, kick my ass, but I
think you put up a good fight, Lolita.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is it's not even about that, right? It's not about like fighting and winning a fight. It's about survival, and it's about getting out of a situation with the least amount of injury to yourself and the other person possible. It's not about just bare knuckling it out there and brawling. It's an art form.
Yes.
It's a skill. It's a science.
What's so appealing about it, and why I think all law enforcement should be training, is because you do have less injury to yourself and to the suspect. So that's good for yourself to go home safe, and the department with liability.
Yeah.
But not only that, you can help people more so. I mean, when I joined the department, my whole reason, you remember the interviews,
Yeah.
my answer was, I'm here to help people.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt them. And now, of course, there's times in the field where it's necessary.
Of course.
We do need to have a fight back, if you will. And there's times when that's appropriate. But there's also times where this being implemented, jiu-jitsu being implemented with the techniques, will keep us safer, will keep them safer. And I think it's a win-win.
Speaking of win-wins, I want to talk, well, you know what? Actually, I was going to talk about your husband. I want to hear this love story. But because this is a law enforcement podcast, I want to, let me slow myself down. There are other programs. This is not just San Bernardino County that's doing this, obviously, right? But this is a big, I don't even want to call it a trend, because I think that it's just a smart decision for law enforcement. But talk to me a little bit about how widespread this is in the profession, at least from your perspective.
I think it's worldwide. I see training with police agencies worldwide. And the more time goes on, I think, and more people train, they realize the importance of training and training consistently. There's a department in Washington, Bellevue Police Department, who has implemented this program, and they provide it to their officers daily, training. And they provide women's training, self-defense, through it's through Gracie University.
Okay.
And the benefits far outweigh. I would say the only negative is you could get injured. And okay, you can get injured jumping off a curb or walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
And so, in my opinion, it's more beneficial for us to train and learn these techniques than to not.
Look, you can also get injured, kicking in a door or holding the ram, or at this age, like stepping out of your car wrong, right?
Yeah, sleeping wrong.
Sleeping wrong, yes. But I'm always, having grown up playing sports and activity, yes, of course you can get hurt playing sports, but the physicality that you're building, the muscles that you're building, the athleticism, the mobility, all of that, hands down, has been shown to prevent injuries more than it causes them.
Absolutely. And that's where, like, when you're preparing, weight training is going to help you. And as, like you said, our age, as we get older, we need that. Just for a slip and fall. If we need to get up, girl, we need that weight training. Oh my gosh, I know. And not just, I know, I want to talk about that too, because you did talk about being overweight. And I know when you first started training, and we've talked about this now for years, but you're like, I didn't even do it to lose weight. But that was an added benefit, right? That I just felt better. And what I love about this and your story specifically, because I do know you, it's like so many times we do things for how we look, right? Oh, I want to lose weight because I want to fit into these pants or whatever. That's not this. No, not at all.
This makes me feel good.
Absolutely.
This is good for me.
Yes.
This
absolutely.
Is good for my profession. This is good for my soul. This is good for my body.
100%. And my mental, it's almost like therapy.
Yeah.
When I go in to train in the academy, I may be having a bad day. I might have bills on my mind. I might have my kids on my mind. But when I go in to train, I can only focus on what's in front of me. And I have no other choice, or I'm going to get choked out. I don't want that, right?
Yeah, that would be a motivating factor.
Yes. So what's unique about this is not only you get the bonus of positive energy and walking out feeling better about yourself, it's learning how to focus on the present moment, on what's in front of you right now.
That is an art form in and of itself, because we get so caught up with what happened yesterday, what's going to happen tomorrow, what happened this morning, and just to be able to find something that can take you out of those things and just put you in a positive place where, and nothing against like meditation or anything. I mean, whatever people need to do, right, for their own, I don't want to say self-help, but for their own health. But the physicality of this is what's really cool, yes. Especially for, law enforcement or athletes, right?
It's like an all-encompassing positive thing to do. I couldn't see not having it in my life at this point. I will always have it in my life in some form or fashion, whether I'm competing or not, whether I'm teaching. I just want it to be a part of my life no matter what. The pros far outweigh the cons. And like you said, it's mind, body, spirit, physical. That's like a bonus.
Yeah.
It's really, I looked at it like a therapy, and the physical part was just a bonus.
And it seems like the sport, it's built for longevity, because you can't go from white belt to black belt. And by design, you have to, it takes time because of the discipline, the consistency, the tenacity, right? That's built into the sport.
Yes. There's times when people can get discouraged if they're consistently training and they're looking at promotion, or they just got promoted and they get discouraged. There's hills and valleys, just like life. And if you just show up consistently, you'll get through it. You'll get through it, and it makes you stronger, and it builds character. And so a lot of times when you get promoted to a new belt, you have the not just insecurity, but
like anxiety, or
no, imposter syndrome.
Oh,
imposter
like
syndrome.
You don't deserve to be here.
Yes. That happens quite often when you get
Really?
promoted in the belts. Yes. Imposter syndrome. Because you're training, and sometimes you don't see your improvement, because the people you're training with are also improving.
Yeah.
So you're improving at the same level at the same time, and you don't see how far you've come yet. So enter in competitions where you can see, okay, I have improved on this. I have improved on these techniques. I do deserve my belt. Or it gives you the motivation to build the belt. And then you're going to put in that training and that time and hard work in order to earn that.
So walk me through, because I don't know. I know white's the beginning and black's the end. But what are the steps in between?
So you have white belt, and then it goes to blue belt, which is a minimum of 2 years that you have to be there.
Okay.
Then it goes into your purple, and then brown, and then black.
Okay.
And I've heard that once you get black, it's still just the beginning.
Okay. Yeah. So black's not the end. It's
No.
the second beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
And you right now, you are going for your brown belt, correct?
Yes. Right now I'm purple.
You're purple.
Yes.
Okay. Explain to me your journey right now from purple to brown.
Purple, again, I had the imposter syndrome going on when I first got promoted. I thought I didn't deserve it. I'm not supposed to be here. Let me go back to blue so I can compete again at blue belt. But through purple, I've learned that I'm more comfortable at the basics, and I'm starting to get into the more technical aspects. There's certain techniques that you can use only at brown and black that you cannot use at purple. So I'm starting to learn those, like techniques with leg locks and bicep slicing and calf slicing. Yes, all these things that you can do in competition. And so it's just, I'm feeling more comfortable in the sport, and I'm able to teach people with more confidence.
You talked about promotion, and there's promotion ceremonies, right? But what is the test to get? Explain that to me, because obviously I sound like a moron. Like I'm like, tell me about I don't even know enough to ask the question, but I just know that it's a process. I know like you're actively seeking your brown belt now.
Yes.
And it is a process just to like apply. I don't even know if I'm saying it right.
Well, I would say that different academies do it differently.
Okay.
Right. So every
Okay.
academy has their process or procedure on how you get promoted to your next belt.
Okay.
And with ours, some do testing, some don't. And ours don't, but our professor is constantly evaluating us as we train every day. They see our improvement. They see us go and compete and put ourselves out there to push ourselves to be better. And, you don't have to compete to promote. You just have to be consistent in your training, and then you show through your movements that you're ready.
When do you know that you've made it?
When you go to a promotion ceremony and they call your name up to get a belt.
So you don't know that.
You don't know.
Oh, wow.
You don't know.
So they just tell you like show up?
Yes. Yes.
Crazy.
Yep. It's up to the professor. Our professor likes to hold the belts for a minimum of 2 years each, just to make sure that they have enough time in the belts to be comfortable and have enough time with the movements and technicalities that you need to know at each belt and each level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our average about 2 years. But it depends if you miss because you're out on an injury or life happens. It just depends.
Okay. Here this whole time, I'm like, okay, you're going for your brown belt. Like, when's it going to happen? Is it what? Okay. So you just don't know.
No, but our promotion ceremony is December 6th this year.
Okay.
So we'll see.
We'll see. Oh, I'm excited for you. Okay.
I need to get that Louis Vuitton, girl.
I know, right? The brown. I know. That's a whole nother. Speaking of addictions. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. It's healthy. It
is. It's healthy. It could be. It's not crack.
Right.
We were talking about longevity, and I heard you say your husband has been doing this for over 3 decades.
Yes.
And he's not in law enforcement, correct?
No.
And you met through the sport?
Yes.
Tell me about this. I want to hear the story.
He is my professor, and that's how I met him. And at the time I started, I was married, but again, I was in a bad situation. So through time, I ended up getting divorced. And he was in a similar situation where he was getting divorced as well. And we just made a friendship at first. We would go and do athletic things like riding bikes and lifting weights and swimming and just got closer over time. And it happened to be that we started dating.
Clearly, I know nothing about this sport, but I happen to know people who love this sport, are really into this sport, right? And so even the people I know who are black belts and stuff, I've told them like, oh yeah, my friend Caroline, and then I'll show them your Instagram and they're like, I know him. Like, they know your husband. He's very well known in the sport, like very revered. It's so cool. Not that like, oh, you landed this guy, but like that you were able to start the sport, something that you love, experience his presence in a mentorship first and like a friendship.
Yes.
And that he saw something in you, not even romantically, but like he saw your potential. He saw your capabilities. He saw your athleticism, right? He saw the way you light up when you talk about the sport. This is what I'm just going to write your story for you.
Yes, it sounds great. I'm very honored and grateful, and I feel lucky to be in love with him. He is an amazing person, and he is like a celebrity. We ended up going to Brazil last year to visit his family, and of course he had some seminars, and everywhere we went, somebody was like, oh, Professor, hey, can I get a picture? Hey, it was amazing to see. And so I'm very blessed and lucky to have him even just in my life, let alone to be in a relationship with him.
And I know, obviously, he's your husband and you love him, but talk to me a little bit about like the personality that comes from the discipline, the continuity of the sport as well, because I feel like they mix.
Preparing for competition is you're strict. It's your diet is strict, your workouts are strict, and so we're on a program and we do it together. And I think that's what really brought us together is the love and passion for the sport. And so we're doing it together when we prepare for competition. And then again, with personality, he's so humble and he's so gentle with people and very good with the kids. He teaches the kids class, and he's just amazing. He has this energy about him. It's just always calm, cool, and collected, and fun. He's like a little kid too, so it gives us some good times. But I would say that those aspects about his personality were very attractive to me, and I learned from him as well in that area of life. I'm 40, almost 45 here, and there's things that I'm just learning from him on my personality, how I should be. And he's a great example of that. He's a world champion, by the way. I wanted to mention he won the world championships in, I believe it was 2002.
Wow.
I could be wrong on the year, but he is a world champion. So that is a big deal in the jiu-jitsu world, an adult world champion.
And it's world, right? Like, I know a lot of times, like, we just had the World Series, right? And I read a comment on something where somebody international was like, why do you Americans call it the World Series when it's not people from the whole world? It's literally just your league, right? But this is
Worldwide.
That's incredible.
Yes.
And I know, like, a lot of your competitions are international. Like, when you go to the last competition you were out of the country, right? Or one of them?
No, we did some seminars in Brazil.
Okay.
They do have competitions in Brazil, which I'd like to go and compete. It just timing was off at the time we went. And we do have international competitions here in the U.S., in Vegas. And I do try and attend those every year.
I would imagine, because it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that once you go to Brazil, the level of competition is just insane.
Oh, insane. Just practice is like competition there.
Right.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because it's what they do. I mean, they grow up.
Yes.
Ooh. When are you guys going to do that?
As far as going to Brazil and competing?
Yeah.
You know, he had talks about this last world champion was his last time competing. And after talking to him after that, I was surprised because he hadn't talked to me about it, and he had mentioned it at our last promotion ceremony. And so we've talked about it, and he says, well, maybe, you know, if we go to Brazil, I want to get one more of those under my belt. And I said, see, you're not done competing.
Yeah,
he still has it in his blood. Hopefully next year, if we can.
I know with your kids, and our kids are not always going to do what we love, but have you been able to, like, pass that on to your kids, or do they just go, that's what mom does?
I've tried to get my kids involved, but like anybody, you know, they were hesitant. So they come and watch, and they support me in that way. But we do have a son. It's my stepson, but my husband's son, who has been training jiu-jitsu. Of course, that's his dad. He's going to be training. But he recently decided that he's going to do wrestling for high school, and we're excited for that. So yes, it is somewhat in the family.
Yeah.
And they support us as well.
There's different levels, of course, and there's different ages. There's kids classes. So you can start as early as you want, but you can also start at, like, if I wanted to start this tomorrow.
Let's go, Lolita. Come on. I've got a gi for you. You can borrow.
I know. I just did my first training session. It was like a one-on-one session because I'm lucky enough to know people where I didn't want to go into a gym. I don't know why. Like, it's me. It's just me, because I feel like, I've been pretty good at sports my whole life, and I don't want to go in, and it's just ego. You're absolutely right. It's ego, right? Like, I just need to let it go. But so I had my own personal training session.
Nice.
And it was so freaking hard. It was a lot. It was hard, you know, and it was like, it wasn't like I don't want to do this anymore, because it was really fun, but it was hard. It was a lot harder than I expected.
Yes.
And just little things like being able to grip. I did gi, right? So being able to grip the gi, my fingers hurt. Like,
yeah, we can't be
it was
models.
not at all what I expected at all. And I used to box, and I've played soccer, and we talked about it. I played sports in high school, and very, very humbling, but also very, like, I would love to keep doing it.
How did you feel after your session?
I felt really good.
The energy you get from it is unmatched. But I will say, yeah, we cannot be hand models. When you're training gi, your knuckles just get the brunt of it's not a hand model situation.
Yeah, even I was like, I'm going to have to cut my nails if I want to actually, because I couldn't even grip because of my nails, right? Because there's only so much of that lip on the gi that you can get your fingers around, right? And you got to get it in tight too.
Yes.
It was a lot of the same thing over and over again. And me being me, I'm like, okay, when do we get to fight? Like,
but when do we get to do the cool
when
stuff?
When do I get to, like, you know, put you in arm lock, or, I mean, which is ridiculous, but yeah. And it's good for me too, because I like to go into things and I like to be good at them right away. Right. But this, and then the other thing that I'm really bad at is running, and that's another thing that just takes like time, and you have to suck at it before you can even, or at least I do. I don't know. Some people are like gazelles.
I still do.
Yeah, I suck at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this was one of those things where I was like, man, okay, if I do this and like continue to just the falling, right? Just practicing my falls and making sure my chin is tucked. It's a lot of those basics.
Yes.
That, yeah, it's intriguing for sure.
Yeah. I think even just the basics, and this is why I like to teach it, the basics are what's going to keep you safe. You know, that's the foundation of the sport, is the basic movements. And that's what's important. We've got to do the muscle memory. We've got to do the repetition so that we can get to the muscle memory. And then we don't have to think about it. Then you can do the fun stuff and the fancy stuff and the artwork.
Well, you know, I want to skip.
I know. Yep. That's where we got to become humble and embrace the journey and embrace the suck, if you will.
Yeah.
It's because it is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. And as long as you show up, you're going to be better for it.
And there's gi and there's no gi. Can you explain the difference to me? I mean, obviously one has a gi, which is the white, you know, or there's different colors, right? It's the, yes. I don't even want to say like pants and is it a robe, like a jacket? What do you call it?
It's like a pajamas, like a robe and some pants. It's like you're wearing pajamas.
Yeah.
And that's the gi.
And then no gi is like a rash guard and you can wear shorts, right? Or you can wear like leggings or...
Yes, so it's like wrestling attire. So you don't want to wear any pockets or zippers that are going to poke or stick you or get your fingers caught. So, so the difference, gi is a lot of gripping. You're more sticky. You can get more technical with that. And with no gi, it's more slippery. Like it's hard to get a grip on anything. You're using these type of grips and you have to get yourself into a good technique situation to get them to submit. It's a little harder. More cardio for sure.
Yeah.
In no-gi.
And I would imagine at the academy you guys do no-gi because, well, one, because not everybody has a gi.
Yes.
And two, when you're on patrol, you're not going to be in a gi.
Right. Yes, we do no-gi and a lot of the techniques are that way.
Okay.
You know, another obstacle that we have when we train, and I make them use the belt because when we're out in the field, we have all of our gear on, and it's a lot different when you utilize the movements and techniques in the field versus when you're in no-gi attire because you have this big belt that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the third day of training, we make the students wear their belts and we go through all the movements so that they can feel where it's going to be a problem in the field and adjust and make adjustments to their muscle memory so that they can do better when they need to use it in the field.
For sure. I'm just thinking to my very limited, like 1 hour session, right? And just the falling and having all that gear on your back and how you fall, or even like, this is very much not a technical term, but like the scooching, right? Where you're like, what is that actually called?
That's a good question. We call it 2 and 2, where you're just pushing yourself back, basically.
Right.
Making room.
Yes. Yeah. You're getting that distance and that space and like, either putting your foot out, right, to like make sure you have that distance so you can get back up and or reassess.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm seeing your smile and I'm thinking about how I'm doing and I'm like, all right, I got to go on Wednesday. Like this is
you
just
gotta go, girl.
I got to come. You know what? So if anyone's like me on the department, well, I'm not even on the department anymore, but if they're on the department and they're interested, tell us, what are the times? When can people drop in?
So right now we have, I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but we had a Wednesday morning at West Valley, the probation department. They have some mat rooms that they were utilizing. That would be with Deputy Salcedo. And I think the other classes are not going at the moment, but you can always reach out to me, Deputy Salcedo, Sergeant Snyder, Sergeant Bashir, and we can arrange classes to be done. As far as the 3-day class, just look for it on the announcements for the training, and it should be coming up here at the end of January, hopefully. Yeah.
And I'm assuming it fills up quickly?
It does. It does. We have limited spots.
And any level, right? Even if you've trained before, you can still get in it again, or does it have to be your first time?
No, any level. any level. And it's good, I think, even for the seasoned people who have training under their belt to get a refresher if they haven't been training, or just maybe put the techniques together. And it's just good training all over the place. I mean, if you do jiu-jitsu, you're going to want to take it, of course. But if you don't, we'll help you through the process, and it's okay.
What do you have coming up that I can look forward to, other than your December 6th, which we will all keep our fingers crossed for you. And
thank you.
I know you've earned it, so it's not a matter of merit, but you never know, right?
Yes, you never know. You never know. So December 6th is my promotion day, hopefully. And in February, I'm planning on doing a competition, so I got to get prepared for that. So I'll be setting my goals and starting to work out and train on a regular basis, be consistent.
And where's that?
That one I'd have to look up on where it's at. It should be in Southern California, but I believe Jiu-Jitsu World League is the tournament that I'm going to be attending.
Okay.
I can't remember the city at the moment.
Okay. So there's just, I mean, my kids play sports. I've played sports. So there's just various tournaments you can enter,
Yes.
just here and there. And then there's the big like annual events like Worlds or Masters, right? That's what you did in August.
In August, yes. That is IBJJF World Masters competition. And anybody can compete at any level. And there's, I want to say, 5 or 6 different competitions at that same time in Vegas. So anybody, kids and adults and older people alike, there is no age limit. So usually you start at 4 years old for training, as long as they're able to follow instructions, and then you can train until no age limit. So I recommend it to anybody who's interested, who've even thought about it. If you're on the fence, a lot of times you can just go into an academy and they'll give you a free week to try it out just to see if it's something for you. I definitely recommend for everybody to go to the academies that are nearby because they're all different. And you can know by just walking in and getting a feel for the place and the people if that's your home or not, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely give it a try. Don't be shy. If you ever have questions, you can always contact me or one of the instructors for SAF.
It's amazing. I feel like, well, one, thank you for my questions being all over the place and being transparent and open about your journey and what it's done for you. But was there anything I asked, like, about this art form that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, there's so much. There's so much. There's not one thing that I can pinpoint. There's just so much that I could say about it, and it's all positive. Like I said, the only thing that might be a deterrent is an injury, but you can get injured doing anything.
Yeah.
And this is so beneficial in all the areas of your life. I would say this, that when I started, I didn't expect that it would be a lifestyle. And when people say jiu-jitsu saves their life, it's real. It really happened. That happened for me. And I was in such a bad place in my life when I started, and through competition, setting goals, being consistent, starting to lift weights again, and just getting into the whole community. It's just amazing. Addicting. It's a good addiction. And I would recommend it to anybody. Anybody.
Okay, I'm sold. Well, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully we'll have a lot more to talk about. I think this is something I definitely want to try, but you are saying like an inspiration is almost too cliche, but you're a real life example, and you're leading from doing, which I love. So I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Lolita. I appreciate you.